supposed to have fun, right? I'm having a great time, don't worry. If I fall asleep, you know I've had it. Anyhow. So, I got this song called These Things Will Drag You Down that I want to play for you. But I got this really cool story. One of the things I really love about what I get to do is I get to meet a lot of cool people, or interesting would be a better word. But this guy's like really cool. I used to work, before I played music for a living, I used to work in a kitchen. And I can't cook, so sorry ladies. I did other stuff. I shouldn't say that, Paul. I should just let them.
Yeah, let it rip. Yeah.
I take that one back. You didn't hear that. Drink more. Drink more. Good. We'll edit that out of the video so everybody thinks I'm like a chef.
Yeah.
Okay. So I used to work in this kitchen, right? And yeah, it's so funny. It was really cool. There's an older black man that was a dishwasher in the kitchen. I became friends with him. His name's Adam Williamson. And we used to just, kind of goof off on break and stuff and hang out. He's in like his late 80s. And one morning, like we finished with the breakfast rush and we're like eating some breakfast ourselves before we get ready for lunch. And I was like, Adam, what did you used to do before you were a dishwasher? And he was like, well, I used to play guitar. I'm like, oh, cool, like for fun, or were you in a band, or, what'd you do? He's like, well, yeah, I was in a band. I'm like, okay. Did you have a name, or were you band number 3 or band number 4? He's like, oh, well, I was in this band called the Famous Flames. I'm like James Brown and the Famous Flames? Oh, yeah, I grew up with James. Oh, okay. So Adam goes on to tell me he grows up with James Brown. James Brown's like first guitarist. And he was like the guy that, like James and Augusta, Georgia, growing up, they would rehearse and they would play these Tuesday night talent shows in all the black theaters. And you get good enough for the Tuesday night, you bring a big enough crowd, you move on to Wednesday and Thursday. And they did that, and they branched out around the South and played all these shows, and did all the early recordings with James. And then he left James Brown and became Jackie Wilson's guitarist.
Wow.
And played with Jackie Wilson up until he passed away. And so my first question was like, Adam, what are you doing washing dishes? But the guy was so full of stories. I mean, and I probably only heard about 1% of them, but my favorite one that he told me was like, Adam, every day I'm like, Adam, tell me a story. And he said, well, one day we were rehearsing over at James' house and little Richard came over. And he talks like he's just checking his watch, like that's no big deal. And little Richard was all about like, hey James, I'm gonna have a hit record. Yeah, man, I'm gonna have a hit record. And James and little Richard are friends, but they're rivals, And James Brown's like, okay, whatever, man, sure, what, Well, tell you what, little Richard, tell me, what's the name of the song, and I'll tell you if it'll be a hit or not. Little Richard says, Tutti Frutti. And James Brown says, man, that's the stupidest name for a song I've ever heard. Anywhere. And we're sitting at breakfast, and Adam's eyes get real big, and he says, Carey, I'll be down if that song wasn't a hit. I love that man. And so I convinced him to play guitar on this song of mine that we did for a live album in Augusta. And he showed up at rehearsal. We had 2 band rehearsals to get ready for the show. And I was like, all right, Adam, we're going to rehearse at 7 o'clock. And we're going to play the 2 songs you're playing on first. So you can just show up, play your 2 songs and head out, And I show up at 5:30 both nights to unlock the doors. And he's sitting on the curb outside.
That's cool.
It was so awesome. He's just sitting there like, like doing that kind of stuff on the curb. And I was like, oh man. And it was just so cool to work with him. So we played this little song called These Things Will Drag Me Down together. And I don't know if that's fun, man, with this guy. So here we go. So don't waste your time standing in line, waiting for a sign to move your legs, to walk that mile. Forget this town, you've been here far too long. These things will drag you down. Oh, these things will drag you down. These things will drag you down. Oh. You only live once, so don't waste your love. Give me two roads, who won't grasp his word. Yes, he'll give you directions. Oh, he will make demands. So much noise, but the only voice you need to hear is your own, your own. These things will drag you down. Oh, these things will drag you down. These things will drag you down. These things will drag you down. Oh, you down. These things will drag you down. Oh.
Awesome.